Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very special guest speaker here, Dr. Romesh Wadhwani. He was a grand keynote speaker for the Saturday morning right here at the TiEcon 2014 conference. Dr. Wadhwani, how was your experience being a grand keynote speaker for today?
Well, it was wonderful seeing the audience and the level of energy and enthusiasm that I could feel. And it was also good to share 40 years of experience in being an entrepreneur. And I was trying to give them non-obvious lessons of experience, stuff that a typical venture capitalist probably won't know or won't tell you. So
Can you sum up your presentation that you did on stage today for our viewers?
there's nothing better you can do in life than being an entrepreneur, whether you're a startup entrepreneur or a growth entrepreneur. But the more you know about how other people have either succeeded or failed, the better the entrepreneur that you will be.
I guess what my audience will have a question for you on this would be, are you born as an entrepreneur or do you train yourself to be an entrepreneur?
There's no question in my mind. You train yourself to be an entrepreneur. I was not born an entrepreneur. I come from a middle-class family. There's no tradition of business in our family. There's no tradition of entrepreneurship till I started. And, and the fact that my first entrepreneurial experience happened at IIT Bombay, which is an engineering school, no one could say I was born with it. It was definitely an acquired taste.
So let's take you back at that journey. When you had that, when you decided that you're going to be an entrepreneur, how was the day like for you? Did you just wake up one day and like, I'm going to start creating a business today? Take us through that journey.
It wasn't precisely that black and white. It was an evolution. So in the case of IIT Bombay, it was really an obvious need that hit me in the face. It was a personal need. I'd come back after long hours at, study and library at IIT Bombay, walk back a mile and a half to Hostel 2, 4 p.m. There wasn't a snack I could get, there wasn't a Coke I could get, seemed pretty Spartan, seemed wrong. So I just felt someone should fill that need. No one else was willing to, so I said, fine, we'll go ahead and start something. And then I roped in 9 other friends, and we built this little company called the Canteen Corporation of IIT Hostel 2. Turned out to be hugely successful. In fact, so successful that, various politicians on campus nationalized the canteen in the end, as I mentioned in my speech. But that was kind of the journey. And then I came to the US. I got my PhD at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. I was not an entrepreneur while in school, but obviously somewhere inside me, a seed was germinating. And then after I left Carnegie Mellon and I interviewed with some companies about jobs, it was very clear I didn't want to work for anyone else. It was very clear that that initial seed of the Canteen Corporation was still inside me. And so right from Carnegie Mellon, I started my first company, 10-year journey, and then my second company, American Robot, which I talked about. And then I moved to Silicon Valley because I wanted to compete with the best of the best. Best move I've ever made because I was finally able to really compete with, the great entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. And that was the Aspect journey. And then after the Aspect journey was done, 10 years later, I wanted to build a group of companies, and that's the journey I'm on right now, Symphony Technology Group. So it's been an evolution, and I would say with each passing year, I learn more things, and I get to be a better entrepreneur. So.
Fantastic. Now, when you started that journey, a lot of entrepreneurs in the beginning, what they face are some of the challenges. They get scrutinized by their family members and their best friends. How did you overcome that?
In one sense, I was lucky that my first entrepreneurial experience was on campus, away from home. Okay. So it was difficult for family to scrutinize, and I did it with 9 friends. So they were supportive naturally as compared to being negative. But I do believe there's a certain amount of negativism and fear about risk-taking in Indian families. It's disappearing, by the way. I see it every time I go to India. I see it through the work we do at the National Entrepreneurship Network. I see it in other respects too. But to the extent it exists, I think the person who wants to be the entrepreneur has an obligation to bring the family along, bring their friends along, but not to give up just because they're negative. So the idea is bring them along, bring them on your side, because it's much easier doing it with their support than without their support. But don't give up your dream just because someone says it's too much risk. Think it through. Clearly don't engage in foolish dreams that have no chance of success. But if you've thought it through and it's a good dream and you believe that customers are behind you, you'll ultimately be able to bring your family and friends along.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Wadhwani, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Great. Thank you.